Hello, welcome to this week's Talking Lower League, brought to you by Talking Boz. The second episode of the new year. Plenty of stuff has been happening since we last spoke to you last week. There's been Scottish Cup action, League 2, Championship midweek there, even some Glasgow Cup action as well. Ali, I know that the excitement in your face as I say that is just has blown me away. Palpable, blown me away.
We even get a player transfer as well.
Oh, I know. Also, before we get kicked off this week, guys, by the way, I'm joined by Ross.
Hello.
And Ali.
Hi.
It's that kind of week.
Just in case you didn't get it. Just a wee thanks to our guest from last week, Adam Duff. It was great having Adam on talking about how he's getting into lower league football thanks to us. Don't know that's a good or a bad thing for him. And obviously his work as well. As Johnny will pitch in, I'm sure at one point he's now. There's rumours circulating. We cannot confirm nor deny this that he's going to be illustrating the loading screens for GTA 6. If you go to Talking Boz Instagram, you'll kind of get what we're talking about.
And if Rockstar heard this, Dylan said that.
That's true. So I won't be your host next week. And also, granted, it's the three of us this week, no guest for us, but we're lining some pretty exciting guests up. So listen to the end of this podcast, and we'll be announcing, I guess, next week. If you follow us on social media, you probably got a good idea of who that is. But we're also lining up some other guests as well, current footballers, ex-pros, everybody under the sun. So exciting times ahead. But yeah, let's just get kicked off with the Scottish Cup fourth round. Involved a lot of low league sides, some kind of standout results there, and obviously in a few weeks we're going to have a kind of more focus on the fifth round draw and fifth round preview and stuff like that, but we'll get a quick reaction as well. But guys, what results involving low league teams stood out in the Scottish Cup for you the weekender?
Well, I was at the Clyde versus Bonnyrigg Rose game.
Yes, on a cow field, I believe, was a quote I've heard in many media publications.
Also from the horse's mouth in front of me.
The pitch was heavy, really heavy. There was a pitch inspection at 9 o'clock. I don't understand how the game went ahead personally. I sent you guys a picture of the pitch. After 5 minutes, it was cutting up huge divots coming out of the pitch. Like the kind of thing you look at and you think someone might roll an ankle or something in this. But you know what? The game went on. It was really hard. The majority of the players looked like they were running in treacle, so it wasn't exactly a fast-paced game, but there was a lot of good tackles. The pitch at Bonnyrigg was really... It was bizarre because it was kind of on a slope, like downhill from, like, I was obviously looking into the home stand, so it's on a slope uphill from where I was standing, but it also has a slope from left to right. The goals aren't in line, but all that doesn't matter because both teams have got to play on it. It's the same conditions for both teams. And what I'll say about Bonnyrigg was fantastic sellout for them. It was around about 1,700 people there, which was really good for them. And they have built a team that's obviously challenging at the top of the Lowland League, but they've also built a team that's really going to play well in this pitch. Kieran McGackie playing up front for them, big target man, and the boy that was playing beside him, I think his name was Hunter, was also big striker, plays with his back to goal. They're looking to get the ball up to them, win flick-ons, or have them hold it and get players in behind, and they made a real go of it. It was getting to the point actually where I was hoping for a replay. And I was thinking if we can get a replay, we should turn them over by maybe 2 or 3 at Broadwood. But luckily, Ali Love got a goal that... It was a weird one. The ball seemed to be stuck at his feet forever. Tackles, he seemed to have dig out a divot at one point.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Obviously, watching the highlights of the game, the pitch played a massive part in that goal, it seemed, as well. Because he kind of lost his foot and kind of scooped it back up in a sense, and then obviously good finish off the post.
Absolutely, and there was a few. If you watch the highlights of the game, which we can say because it was sports scene was back for the show, there was a few incidents they missed. Clyde had a second one-on-one with the goalkeeper where Ali Love went through and probably should have squared it to David Goodwillie, but he decided to take the shot that the keeper saved very well. And in the first half as well, Clyde had a big shout for a penalty as Barry Cudahy knocked the ball past their defender, and he seemed to kind of almost, if you're a fan of WWE, just spear him clean out his boots. But the referee waved play on. David Mitchell for Clyde was absolutely phenomenal in the goals, and really the man that won the tie for Clyde.
That seems to be a reoccurring theme for Clyde this season. I mean, he obviously has just signed a new
2-year deal.
New 2-year deal.
Great news.
So, and big boost for the club.
Yeah, and Bonnie Rigg would maybe be unlucky not to have a penalty at the end, obviously, with the new handball rule. I don't think Scott Rumsby came off Scott Rumsby, didn't really mean to handball it, but with the rules these days, I've seen them given. But all in all, I thought Bonnie Rigg gave a fantastic account for himself. A team I wouldn't mind seeing maybe coming up into the kind of pyramid system. Or they'd have to do something about their pitch. And they seem to have a great back, and Bonnie Rigg seemed to be a lovely wee place. And all in all, it was a great day, and I'm glad kind of Clyde get through.
Yeah, well, I bet you.
Yeah.
With that,
it could easily went another way.
With that cup draw,
I'll tell you, I wouldn't have been aggrieved if it went another way. Bonnie Rigg were fantastic. Played their game.
It seemed that way. But no, obviously we'll briefly touch on the draw that a lot of people are talking about. After we went through the results, you have to wait and find out. The game that might seem a wee bit, because obviously we lost a few lower league clubs. It seems as if I'm doing like a tribute to the fallen. As if like I'm sorry, but over the weekend we lost a few lower league clubs. But we did. But one result that stood out for me in a sense was at Pittodrie, where Aberdeen beat Dumbarton 1-0. I was absolutely gutted for Dumbarton. Watching the highlights and chatting to a few of the fans and stuff like that, and just kind of seeing some of the reactions and stuff like that. Dumbarton seemed to put in a great performance, really resolute. Aberdeen just really struggled to break them down, and it was a real shame that it just seemed like a lapse in concentration from Katongo, the defender. Yeah. For Dumbarton, just kind of stuck his foot out and brought down. I think it was Cosgrove who actually brought down.
It was, yeah.
And then obviously Cosgrove is, Cosgrove, and he just puts the penalty away. But no, it was just a real shame. It seemed like a really good atmosphere at the game, and it seemed like a great doubt for the Dumbarton fans. And very much like I guess what you're talking about with Bonnie Rigg, playing a team from higher up, they can really hold their head up high. And Dumbarton, was a team that we actually had while we're on Dumbarton, we had a question from a couple of listeners actually this week. _Craig _1872 and Jack Rolmanis. I don't know if I've clearly pronounced that wrong. Sorry, Jack, 1872. Where will Dumbarton finish this season? I think that on the back of a performance like that, I still think they'll take a lot of confidence from it. And I do think that, as we've discussed before, they seem a bit of a surprise package in the League One this season. I think they'll just miss out in the playoffs, but I think they'll finish comfortable. And I hope that they keep Jim Duffy on, and I hope he wants to stay on, and why couldn't they push for the playoffs next season?
Yeah, I think Dumbarton will finish in the proverbial no man's land. Clear a relegation, not going to be in the promotion mix, just have a solid season, and I think that's surprising given pre-season. As I've said a couple of times, I kind of wrote them off a wee bit just through their sheer player recruitment, but I forgot who was at the wheel.
And that'll learn you.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
I watched the highlights of the game. I thought it was just a case that you say it was a moment where maybe legs are tired, and that's something you could maybe get away with in League One. But Cosgrove's a top talent in Scotland, and I thought the penalty, by the book of the law, it's a penalty, but I thought it was one of those ones that maybe he's bought it a wee bit, but that's the difference in quality. Like, you're not going to have a player like that who could maybe do that in League One. And I thought, penalty kick, great, well taken. Dumbarton unlucky, and a good advert for what we've been talking about, which is the teams in the SPFL these days are not maybe a walkabout for Premier League teams that are not a walkover. I mean, Aberdeen had to work hard, rely on a penalty. Although that game's going back to Dumbarton Rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I think they'll be absolutely fine this season. Good account of themselves. It could have, Ali, like you said, could have easily went back to Dumbarton. But no, even though that it was a defeat for Dumbarton, I thought that it deserved a mention. I thought, going by the highlights, they played really well, resolute, showed all the qualities that's got them in the position where they are this season. And, you know, like we're saying, I think they'll be absolutely fine. And I think their fans would have probably bitten your hand off for potentially finishing mid-table just outside the playoffs at the start of the season.
I'm sure they would have taken that result as well, given they're in a bit of injury trouble as well at the moment. I don't think Isaac Lane was playing. So, I mean, great result for Dumbarton. Yeah,
a kind of similar vein to what you're just saying, Dylan. It's not the game I've picked, but to other teams, its fans seem to be quite happy despite losing, where Wraith and Morton, just going by the pure Twitter reaction, Morton fans in particular, having just lost 3-0 to St Johnstone, seemed really kind of content with the performance they put in. They showed a lot of kind of dig, but of course you're going to see that on Twitter because you're not allowed to talk badly about Greenock Morton anymore. That's fine. That's
of course.
You know, they seem to be quite. So we're told. They seem to be quite happy and quite kind of hopeful. Actually, they can pull themselves out of the mess they're in just now.
They seem to have a good few decent chances as well. There was one chance, you know, just catching up in the game, but it was an absolute sitter, and you're like, see if they scored that, it could have been cliche, I know, but it really could have been a different game.
It seemed to be most of the kind of feedback I saw on Twitter.
Yeah, and Morton recently extended the loan of Jack Baird, the centre half from St Mirren, who seems to have been a great bit of business for them, so I'm sure that will lift them as well going forward.
The game I've got is Ayr United 1, Ross County 0. Stephen Bell's goal taking the honest men through to what you would call a bit of a cup upset, but Ross County not in the greatest of form just now either. Yeah,
I still think anybody that I think you know, it's somewhere that teams just don't like to go. Somewhere that fans like to go, I think it's a good away day, but somewhere it's just such an awkward place to go. They always bring. I love the fact that Ayr have got such a great fan base as well, and I just thought that the game at the weekend just goes to show that, do you know what, they just went and they took the game to Ross County. Ross County just looked quite toothless at times. I know they had a few chances, of course. You know, they're in the Premiership, they're going to have a few chances, and they're a good team. You know, I think they'll stay up absolutely fine this season. But no, they're just a wee, you know, and Mark Kerr in the middle of the park for Ayr kind of pulling the strings as well as being the gaffer as well, which is a really tough thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, no, great result for Ayr, and as I'm sure we'll go on to briefly this week, and of course when we preview the next round of the cup ties, they'll be quite confident they can probably go another step next time as well.
Especially with the draw they go, which I'm sure we'll come on to in just a second.
Exactly, yeah. No, great result for Ayr as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quickly about Partick Celtic. Were you going to cover that one, Ross?
No,
go for it.
Carry on.
Partick Celtic seemed bad the spring there. It seemed like a good game. It was televised. It seemed like a really good game of football that Celtic, I feel, will be happy to kind of get through, because this was them coming back from a wee winter break off. Obviously they had a very difficult game where they were rattled a bit by St Mirren for periods of time, and I don't know what you're laughing at, Dylan. Rangers obviously beat them in the last game before the break. They came back, scored an early goal, and then made it 2-0 late on. Kenny Miller missing.
I was waiting for you to bring it up.
See, if Kenny Miller was 38 instead of 40, maybe would have made it. But maybe age finally catching up with Kenny.
I don't know if you've seen him on the sports scene before it, and he was raging talking about it. But you know, he should have put it. I know it's a tough chance, right? And we're sitting here.
The ball came across at some pace.
I know.
You know what I mean?
And he was unlucky. And do you know what? It certainly would have made it interesting. It's a shame, actually, from their perspective as well, they didn't score that penalty earlier.
Yeah.
As well. Obviously, the penalty itself, you can probably have a podcast episode on whether it is or not. But the fact of the matter is, they got it. great penalty as well, great finish, and it's a shame they never got it, even if it was just like 5 minutes before, just to make it just, even if it just threw everybody out the park to make a go of it. And Thistle were, do you know what, Thistle, even though there was times of the games where it seemed a bit kind of pedestrian for both sides, just the way that kind of Celtic were kind of, really leading on possession. Thistle can, good account of themselves.
I think I don't think any of I don't think the penalty that Partick got was a penalty.
Yep.
And I don't think the penalty claim that Celtic fans are talking about is a penalty. For me, that's one of those ones that if I see it happen against my team, I'm calling for it every single day of the week. But when I look at it on the telly, or as I did this time, I'm just looking like, just get up, mate. Get up. It was a single-handed push in the back and he's went flopping over. I thought Zach Rudden was running the show. We've got a wee bet going on with the guys at the senior podcast where we're talking about a beer bet. 10 goals. That's correct. Johnny, was that it? 10 goals till the end of the season. He looks like a good bit of business anyway.
Yeah.
You're getting no more beer after Christmas.
Nah, I know. I'm actually doing dry January. That's it.
Just for that reason.
I had to lie down in a darkened room for 3 days and assess some things. But
what was it, 20-7 in the morning? He messaged
yes.
I was just getting in. But no, a good game for Partick, and hopefully with the good recruitment they've already done, adding McKinnon, maybe the second half of the season will be a bit easier for them.
Yeah, I think, I'm sure we'll touch on it as well, Ali. We were talking about it with Alloa's victory last night against Arbroath. And I just don't think... I think Thistle's chances of fighting for the top four, despite how close the middle of the pack is at the Championship, I just think it's a wee bit beyond them. I think if they can avoid finishing in that relegation playoff spot and just kind of consolidate, and then next season, I'm sure McCall will bring in more of his players in the summer, and that will be they'll certainly look to push on to the playoffs anyway next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, we won't dwell on it too long, but can I just have some very brief reaction to the Scottish Cup last 16, which includes a few lower league sides.
I screamed.
Ross, what was the game you were going to cover? Just out of interest.
For the Scottish Cup?
The one from the weekend. Before I jumped in with my Partick Thistle nonsense.
I was going to just give a quick shout out to BSC Glasgow as well for beating
absolutely.
What a result for them, and
absolutely.
As we're about to mention, what a draw for them as well.
Yeah, and unfortunate for East Kilbride, they went down pretty early on, I believe. For about 40 seconds, was it?
Yeah, great finish.
Great finish. It was always going to be uphill for there, but you know what? They've managed to get this far. They've put themselves on a map. Whoever won that game it was going to be close. Whoever won that game was in for the money in the next round. And as we'll talk about with the draw.
Yes. So while we're on the topic, BSC Glasgow obviously getting a home draw. Obviously location kind of TBC at this point. Yeah. Don't know whether that will be played at Alloa or it will be played elsewhere. But they will be at home to either Dundee United or Hibs. What a draw. What a draw for them. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be a great occasion as well.
Ooh, I've done that again, that bloody spring, man. I think the game will be played at Alloa. I believe the only reason it would ever get moved is due to safety fears. And
that sounds ominous.
Yeah, well, it's like if Albion Rovers were to draw one of the Old Firm, the game would get moved, and when East Kilbride played Celtic, it get moved. But
recreation. What, for nuclear radiation?
Yes, because of Chernobyl.
Yes.
Recreation Park's hosted like Hibs, Hearts, and I think Hibs and Hearts. Definitely hosted Dundee United this year. Definitely hosted Rangers before. So I think the game will be there. By the way, that was another great game from the weekend, by the way. Hibs Dundee United.
Yeah, it was a great game.
An absolute cracking game. I think Shankland done what he done best. Quiet, bullied a boy, good finish. And the as Sky Sports described, the Frenchman off the bench, Appert, has done a great turn and a great finish, despite the fact he's from Perth, France, just outside Marseille, I believe, a small winery. But I don't know. But a great game, and one I imagine Hibs are not looking forward to having to play again.
No, I definitely don't
think so. I think with the position that Dundee United are in the league, not that obviously it's not over to the fat lady sings and stuff like that, but I think we can hear her pretty loud and clear. So I think that Dundee United will be relishing the prospect of going to Easter Road.
Yeah.
Especially obviously with some of the kind of injury problems that Hibs are having as well of late this
Yeah.
week. So it'll be an interesting one. Obviously BSC Glasgow, I'm sure we will discuss BSC Glasgow at length very soon.
Yes.
But in the meantime, another couple of draws. Look, let's just talk about it. Clyde v Celtic at Broadwood. First time the two sides have played each other since that glorious day in 2006. Instant reactions to that. I know we all had our own individual reactions to that, but
I think the first thing I sent you was the Shane McMahon, "Here comes the money."
That's
Yes.
absolutely correct.
Yeah, I thought it was the best tie we could have got.
Yep.
You could argue Parkhead would have given us more money, but the away section at Parkhead is atrocious. I wouldn't have been able to have seen the miracle unfolding before me.
That's true.
So Broadwood,
Well, we seem to see Fraser Aird pretty fine, so
well, that's it, innit? I don't know what he couldn't see anything. I don't know. That was my Charlie Nicholas moment there. Guys, say so. You better go to never mind, Fraser. I thought it was a great tie. And you know what I like about this is that it's a throwback to a previously fantastic moment in the Scottish Cup.
Yep.
It's something different for the Celtic. Can I actually lay some rumours and speculation to rest? I saw some Celtic fans talking about the state of Broadwood.
yeah, somebody asked me this as well.
Yeah, there seems to be a rumour down the rounds that the game's getting moved to either Motherwell or Airdrie because Broadwood's got 2 condemned stands. That is not the case. Broadwood's fine. We've had the other stands open
This season?
This season.
Yeah.
The game will be going ahead at Broadwood. The stands are not rotting. We're not going to do any dodgy deals with the safety certificates.
And maybe if the Celtic fans weren't so insular about their own club and they actually looked out with, then maybe they'd know that. But
Well, the one
not that they listen to this anyway. So
This is why I didn't want to talk about this.
But one of the things that I saw was that we got when we played Falkirk was, well, they must have put up a temporary stand at the open end. We don't have an open end, haven't had done for years. The game's at Broadwood.
and people moan
What they
people
might want to do is have a wee look at Google Maps and then maybe ask Google Maps to update their satellite images
It's
from
not- it's- but you know, see, to be
2007.
honest,
I can see where this comes from because it seemed to be 1 or maybe 2 posters on a Celtic forum that said, my brother-in-law works for North Lanarkshire and this is the case, and it's just spread like wildfire since, to the point where I've been hearing about it, and I'm not really big in the Celtic scene, as you can imagine. So,
You sure?
yeah, well, who knows?
apparently not.
Yeah, so the game will be at Broadwood. I think it'll be a great day.
Yep.
Plastic pitch, Celtic struggle, but I think it's going to be a pretty, I think we know the score.
It's just going to be a good occasion.
Great occasion.
I think it's going to be a really good occasion. Really looking forward to it. Obviously, clearly, they're in the west of Scotland. A lot of friends who are Celtic fans, it's chatting about it already, looking forward to going for beers and stuff like that, making a bit of a day of it whenever it is. So,
Absolutely.
no, great draw for Clyde.
And the thing is, as I've said, the media build-up
Yeah, would be good.
as itself, given the last game, given the fact McStay and Grant are playing for Clyde at the moment,
Yep.
I think it's going to be a great occasion.
Yep.
For the Scottish Cup, and whether or not the game pans out the way I personally want, I think it's going to be a great game and 2 teams just going at it.
Yeah, no, it'll be good, and fingers crossed that it is a good game. Ross, is there any other ties that stick out for you?
The tie that kind of sticks out for me for another potential cup upset is Ayr at home again to St Johnstone. Arguably St Johnstone the weakest team in the Premiership this season. I think, to be putting it lightly, I think they'll be absolutely shiting themselves to play United if they carry on the form that they had in the first half of the season. They're potentially losing Matt Kennedy as soon as the end of this window, if not in the summer, to Aberdeen. So, they're potentially down their most creative player. I think it could be a real tough game.
I think Ayr will be rubbing their hands at this.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
absolutely.
I think they'll be rubbing their hands at the opportunity to potentially get to the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup.
United seem to be one of those kind of cup teams. They always seem
They
to
love a
kinda
cup
go
run.
deep. go deep. I remember back in the day where Mark Roberts single-handedly waltzed them all the way there every single round. But I'm great, and I agree with you, Ross. A tough tie for St Johnstone, who must be, as you said, shiting it.
Yeah, the technical term.
That's it.
No, but I'm sure it will be I'm actually hoping it's a 3:00 Saturday kick-off as well, because I think that the crowd will be brilliant. I think that Ayr, we briefly spoke about Ayer's kind of crowds before and the big fan base and stuff like that. I think they'll be coming out in numbers for this one, because it is an opportunity to kind of make kind of modern day history, I guess, for the club, and really make a statement getting to the quarterfinals, and who knows what could happen if they do get through. But like we say, look, we could dwell on this draw for a while. We'll in a couple of weeks we'll go more in depth the week of the last 16. But let's look ahead to the weekend coming. We're back league action across the lower leagues. So let's just kick off with the Championship and what we're looking forward to in the Championship. So there's a fixture for me, which is Queen of the South at home to Alloa, or what I've got here is the 25 points battle. Might seem a bit like some kind of weird bumper sticker on a car. But I think there's now, the middle of the pack in the Championship, there's now 4 teams.
Yes.
All on 25 points. I know Queen of the South, I think I've got 2 games in hand, and there's a couple of teams that have got a game in hand of each other. But it's mad. I was just looking at it today, just going, what? But it's brilliant. It's absolutely great. Especially, Alistair, I know you wanted to talk about Alloa winning last night as well. Big result for them at home to Arbroath.
Big result for Alloa, who are picking up points against the higher end of the table last night. I thought it was a fantastic result for Alloa. Maybe aided a wee bit because of Arbroath's tough game against Falkirk. Talking of which, did any of you guys see Dick Campbell's interview after the game?
Yes.
It was absolutely tremendous. He's not
scared. Grin.
He is not scared at all. He went in there scared. Loved it. That's why he's the godfather of Scottish football.
We're going to get Adam to draw that.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was a great result for them. Picking up points at the right end of the table. They're going to try and stay up this year. I thought Arbroath were unlucky, feeling that hangover, but also good news for Arbroath today, where they've finalised the loan of Craig Whiteton from Hearts.
Yeah.
So
even some Dundee fans were talking about, I don't know whether that was a piss take or not, or they genuinely wanted him back, but
yeah.
I know he's a bit of a cult hero there after his what happened in his previous spell there. But on the surface of things, look, good signing for Arbroath.
Yep, and I think that makes a bit more sense with Stephen Doris leaving the club.
Yep.
Something of a club legend there. He went to Forfar.
Yep.
I think a great recruitment for Forfar, but it creates that kind of spot for someone to maybe slide out the team or for Whiteton to come in. But yeah, great result for Alloa. A team I've always had a kind of soft spot for, given how well they've been doing in that Championship year in, year out. And I'd love to see them stay up yet again, giving part-time football a good name.
I think going by reports just very quickly, they were really unlucky in the cup as well on Saturday against Inverness.
Yeah,
Inverness very unlucky.
Inverness scored a last minute headed winner.
Yeah, and Alloa seemed to have a lot of opportunities that they couldn't
finish.
Couldn't seem to finish, and maybe in other days they would have went to.
Yeah.
I think they'll be quite confident going to Palmerston at the weekend. Obviously Queen of the South. Very up and down. I know they've got 2 games in hand, but these are the types of games that they should be winning. But Alloa will go there with no fear, going, look, if we get another win here, we can start actually looking to really run away from Thistle in that kind of relegation playoff spot.
Well, see, if the thing is, if Alloa win and Thistle lose at Gayfield, Alloa are off the bottom.
Yeah.
And how big a mental kind of thing is that for Thistle to go back down to the bottom of the table despite a bit of progress that seemed to be kind of taking place? How big a mental kind of barrier would that be for them? Because
all it takes is a couple of wins for things to completely turn on ahead, especially when the league's so tight. So that's my kind of pick for the Championship this weekend, and I'm really hoping that they all stay on level points for as long as possible. But yeah, guys, what about you?
I have the Sacking Derby at Dens Park.
Oh, so da.
Interesting. Excellent. Dunfermline are 5 out of 5 losses in the last 5 games. and Dundee 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. Dunfermline can go a point behind Dundee with a win, but given the kind of nature of each manager's position, I think it's going to be a really intense game. Two sides going hammer and tongs for it. I don't know if I can call it.
This has got a draw written all over it.
Yeah. I've actually got Dundee just sneaking it. If anybody wins.
Dundee are at home. I think it's going to be that you say that. I was looking at it for the managerial point of view. As I said before, I think if they were going to get rid of one of the managers,
it should have been long before
now.
Happened
just before Christmas, but we're still relatively at a point where they could maybe get some signings in if they bring someone in, and then you need to act fast.
Ross just battered the night there, sorry.
Dundee for me.
Just he did
every week.
Glasgow kissed it.
We're at it this week. So. And I think Dundee should maybe win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised given Nisbet and his form at the moment for Dunfermline to win it. But it's all about how Dunfermline can get over the loss of Greg Kilty as well. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if rumours are to be believed, then Alfredo Morelos somehow ends up at the Nou Camp. Is Kevin Nisbet going to end up at Ibrox?
Yeah.
But look, there's bigger news out there, guys. Graham Dorrans has signed a new deal at Dundee.
He has.
And what a piece of business that is. I think Dundee fans are not expecting that at all. And there was so many Twitter accounts going, "This is great. We're not expecting this whatsoever." So I guess the rumours of him going to join Russell Martin at MK Dons are officially over.
Must be.
But no, hopefully that gives him a boost. And let's hope that they pick up a few wins and the fans can start coming back, especially after the turnout at Dens at the Cup game against Motherwell at the weekend. I mean, I think Motherwell brought more fans and home fans. I know they're having very contrasting seasons, but it's not great to see from a kind of, institutional kind of Scottish club. So fingers crossed, and let's hope that that's a good game. And we're back to talk about League One this weekend.
Yes.
As we'll always quote, Europe's most exciting league. Right, guys, putting out to the table, what games stick out for you this weekend in League One?
Raith Rovers versus Montrose.
Ross. Same.
Look,
I'm just going to leave the room. Right? Because it's just a bit much. I'm feeling a bit upset. But anyway, talk about Raith Rovers, Montrose, whatever. Yeah, getting into this game, I think Montrose are probably the team to beat in League One just now, to be perfectly honest. 4 wins out of the last 5. Raith 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss. I've wrote win twice, that's why I've paused there. As I say, Montrose I think are the team to beat in League One just now. Raith have kind of started a little bit over the last couple of weeks. They're top of the league, but a couple of draws here and there that they maybe should have won. They've got the added pressure as well of Falkirk and Airdrie playing the bottom 2 as well. So for Raith, really, this is a must-win to kind of keep themselves right at the top of the league. But I would not be surprised to see Montrose take the win here.
No, absolutely not. I have it for the same reasons as you. I think Raith have... They've been top of the league a couple of times, and then they've never really... Well, no one has really obviously been able to cement themselves there. Raith, as far as I'm aware, have been very quiet this transfer window. They've had injury issues, especially up front and in attacking positions. And Montrose are looking to kind of force their way into the playoffs, and this is one of those games where they'll need to win this to kind of get themselves in there. They need to start winning games against the teams above them to make that final wee push. Like you've said, Montrose are on a great run of form at the moment. They are always a difficult team to play. They have obviously big Sean Dillon at the back, who's a great player, and he makes things very difficult for anyone, and they're just a big physical team, and I think Raith will struggle with that given the football that Raith like to play and given the kind of players that they have at their disposal at the moment.
I think the other thing, sorry Dylan to cut you off there, is East Fife are away to Clyde as well, and for me Clyde did a big result in the league. East Fife are kind of starting a little bit as well, and if East Fife should happen to lose to Clyde at Broadwood and Montrose win, that's Montrose into the playoffs.
Yeah, and what a turnaround that would be as well. Ali, you've raised a point there about this. These are the types of games that Montrose need to win if they really want to kind of cement themselves in the playoffs.
It's also the games that Wraith need to win as well.
Well, that's it. Took the words right out of my mouth there. These are the games that Wraith need to win. Wraith have been humming and hawing at the top of League One for years. Like, they really have to start just taking it by the scruff of the neck and cementing themselves. It's so tight at the top. Like, we've spoke about it every week since we've started this. How tight it is at the top of the league, which is great for us who, you know, go to a lot of League One games every week and things like that. But this is a great opportunity for them to just start picking up the wins, be more disciplined, and just potentially, you know, end up not running away with it. You know, I don't think anybody's really going to run away with it.
I don't think so.
You know, I do think it's a great opportunity for them, because Falkirk, obviously, since the new managerial team came in, they're on a good unbeaten run. You know, probably wanting to pick up more victories than they're currently drawing at the moment as well. But, you know, all it takes is for Falkirk to do that, or for Airdrie to pick back up again. So I think this is a big opportunity for Wraith.
Agreed.
It's funny you're talking about Wraith being quiet in the transfer window. I saw a tweet during the week, and it was the caption on it was the Wraith transfer budget announced, and it was just the Wraith Twitter page had just tweeted 9p.
Oh yeah, I seen that. That was brilliant.
It makes sense. I think they need some new faces in Wraith to make the push. I think their back line is shockingly thin, and also ancient as well. Ian, and nothing against the boys, but like Ian Davidson, Stephen Anderson, like
they didn't do themselves kind of any good at the weekend there when they're in the Scottish Cup away to Livingston. It was that defensive performance was woeful. Woeful.
Yeah. Watch now, they had Christoph Bearer before the end of the window just to make it worse.
That's it. Definitely fits the MO for a Wraith signing, but I think they need some players in at the back and a wee bit more firepower.
Yeah, exactly. A game that sticks out for me in League One is Peterhead at home to Dumbarton. Obviously, we've spoke at length at kind of Dumbarton's performance away to Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup. I think they'll take a lot of heart from that. Obviously, they'll be gutted to travel back down the road after kind of the way the game ended, but I think that hopefully once kind of the managerial team speak to them and everybody kind of rallies round, they'll realise that, look, if we can take the performances forward, as we touched on earlier in the podcast, then they can really push on. For Peterhead, really interesting time. Obviously, we spoke quite a bit last week about McAllister moving on. They've just also brought in an attacking reinforcement in Stephen Boyd, isn't it?
Yeah, Stephen Boyd. Yep. He's played 65 games for Hamilton. Still a young lad as well, it seems, and I think that's a really good reinforcement, and maybe a kind of player that they don't actually already have on their books. Like, compared to McAllister, he's not the same build, he's not going to play the same way. Maybe something a bit different, and a really, really good bit of business from them.
Do you know, until you two said that, I hadn't even connected the dots that it was the same player. These you're talking about, they're coming in for Akis, so I think that'll be a good signing.
That's what we're here for. Another kind of point which might not seem like much on the surface level, but at Peterhead is obviously with McAllister departing, is who's going to be the new captain.
Yeah.
As well, there's been a lot of chat, obviously. Just going to name drop them every week now. Obviously, our friends at the
Blue Toon
podcast mentioned us. Thanks very much, guys. So we're just going to keep going back and forth until we can get
we'll
a
just
beer,
keep playing this tennis game.
But, you
until
know,
Clyde v Peterhead later on in the season.
Then you know, we'll be separated. But it's,
physically and emotionally.
Yes. Is obviously who's going to be the new captain. There's been a lot of talk of Scott Brown potentially getting it, not to be confused. Obviously, we know so many Celtic fans are going to be listening to this. Don't worry, your Scott is still going to be in the middle of the park.
I don't know, they've got big money up in Peterhead.
Might fancy a new challenge.
Scott at the end of his career.
And also some things coming out today about Simon Ferry signing a new long-term deal, which may then lead to him becoming the captain as well. There seems to be, and I'm kind of taking the words out of the Peterhead guys' mouths here, but there seems to be a few leaders in that squad.
I think Derek Lyle's a name that could be in that mix as well.
Yeah, I think he's been mentioned as well. So I think that will be if we're trying to look at positives from McAllister leaving. Ali, I know, we're talking about it. You know, you were talking about it a lot last week. As you know, there could be a new voice, a new leader after nearly 8.5 years at the club. And I'm sure they'll want to get a victory this weekend to kind of go, look, you know, a big part of the club from some of the success in recent years is left, but do you know what? We're rallying and we're going to push on, and do you know what? Life moves on and we have to plan for the future.
Yeah, for me, I would put my money on Simon Ferry getting the armband. I think he seems to be a guy everyone seems to get on with on the park. He's always been a guy that organises, and he's a voice. Seemed to have a bigger voice than McAllister did. And I think when you're in the situation that they're in, it's something I've often thought about is where do you want your captain to play? I don't like a captain being a striker. I don't know. I'm old-fashioned. I'd rather have a centre-half or a central midfielder. That's where I want my voice to come from. And I think Simon Ferry ticks the boxes for that kind of midfield captain. And that's where I would want him to be, given what they're looking to do this end of the season, which is kind of push and stay up and survive.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see if they bring in any more reinforcements over the next few days. Might even be some before the weekend. So I'm sure we'll be keeping an eye on that. Any other games in League One that stick out particularly? We all kind of covered there, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm
you guys shockingly had the same game as well, which no
surprise. I had a jealousy I detect.
I don't want to talk about it.
I've always said green's an ugly colour in you.
Wow. So I'm rattled. Absolutely rattled. So League 2. I'm going to League 2. The game that sticks out for me this weekend is Cowdenbeath at home to talkingLowerLeague's unofficially sponsored side, Brecon City.
Oh Jesus! Oh God!
I know I shouldn't have.
A fantastic result for Stenhousemuir at the weekend.
Yep.
Beating Elgin 3-2, last minute winner, much needed points on the board.
You are loving it. Look at that big shit-eating grin.
I'm fed up being roasted in the group chat. It's relentless.
Anytime
it's traumatic. I'm thinking I'm muting it.
Genuinely, for anybody listening, anytime Brecon do anything positive, whether it's a social media post, whether it's a goal, whether it's a win, Ali's just...
New kit man in at Brecon. It's Ali. Oh, here we go. Who knows?
The revival's on.
New voice in the dressing room. But nah. Stenny done well last week. Brecon need to respond.
Brecon do have to respond. Yeah. Cowden on a wee bit of a I don't know, they're just very up and down. I thought it was going to be a bit of a 3-horse race a couple of months ago in League 2, but it's just kind of going to be between Cove and Edinburgh for the title. Cowdenbeath just need to stay consistent, pick up a few wins. This is the first time they've been in this position for a number of years. They just have to stay disciplined, keep picking up the wins to keep them solid in the playoffs. And the last thing they want to do is, obviously, of course, slip out the playoffs, which would be a disaster, I think, at this point, after the great season they've had so far, is finishing that 4th spot. If you want to play the team, in my opinion anyway, I know Edinburgh and Cove have had great seasons, but I always think there's that risk, regardless of how poor the team in League One's been that's finishing 9th, of finishing 4th and facing them.
I think you would rather be playing Stranraer than Edinburgh.
Think so?
Aye.
So you think
the way Stranraer are playing this year?
Yes,
absolutely.
And you're also assuming Stranraer are going to finish?
Stranraer are finishing 10th. Let's not have another...
No, that means Stranraer, obviously, we're talking about the team that's going to finish 9th.
Oh, sorry, yes,
so
yeah.
Obviously,
I'm talking shite, Peterhead,
it could be like Clyde, Peterhead,
Sorry, my bad. No, it'll be Peterhead.
My opinion in the playoffs has always been I would rather play the team that's the most dejected.
Yeah.
So a team that's coming off a losing season, maybe at Disarray, maybe heads have already gone. I'd rather play that team than a team that's had a high flying positive season.
But also I'm getting so passionate, I've just punched the mic. But also on the flip side of that is, if it does end up, this is all very hypothetical, is if it goes down to like the last couple of games or whatever, in Edinburgh City, for example, let's say lose out to Cove, then they're going to be gutted because they've been so close, and they meant. I mean, we're just creating stories here, but ultimately, look, I think that
first and second went up last year.
Yeah, aye.
So.
I know.
And they'll do the same this year, so it's fine.
Did they? I don't even know. I can't remember.
There we go. That's because I think we're still recovering from that. But yeah, so I think that Cowden need a win to get the confidence back up, maybe get another wee run going, cement themselves in the playoffs, and Brecon
just need a win.
Come on, boys, let's get the revival going.
Just start playing this man over here's clips before the game.
I know.
That should be enough motivation.
Absolutely. Right, League 2. League 2. I mean, it would be. Right, League 2, guys. What do you fancy?
I have Stirling versus Elgin.
Piece of shit. Again?
Yeah. There is just 1 point between these two teams getting into this game at Force Bank.
Yep.
Stirling on a bit of resurgence, as our good friend Adam kind of illustrated last week. Darryl Duffy and a
Putting over like a Rolls Royce, Darryl Duffy, in his later years, still doing well, still finding the net.
Like a fine wine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Stirling 3 wins.
Are you guys like Morecambe and Wise? Sorry, what were you saying? 3 wins or something?
Do you want to get it up, you know? Spent a lot of time in this.
I'm sorry, on you go.
3 wins and a draw at the last 5. A Stirling win and Cove beating Annan takes Stirling into the playoffs, but also an Elgin win and an Annan loss does the same for Elgin as well. We talked about transfers. We also get Shane Sutherland a move to Inverness as well.
Well, just while we're on that, actually, if we don't mind quickly going on to, I'm just going to, before you come in there, Alec, just a question from Ross Cameron, 2108, on Instagram, thoughts on Elgin City. So just very briefly, Ross, you just said there, Sutherland, after, I think it was last week or the week before, we said, look, it's really great to see him back. I think it was last week.
It was last week, yeah.
He's great to see him back in form, kind of the homecoming type thing. And I think a couple of days later, if that, he signed a pre-contract to join Inverness in the summer. Kind of initial thoughts on that and kind of the thoughts on Elgin for the rest of the season.
It's a big loss for Elgin, a big loss. Sutherland's played really well, arguably some of his best football. For me, and I think he's very much earned his move. The way things are going, it could be taking the jump for League 2 into the Premiership if Inverness go up. It's a massive jump, but
I think the signing of Shane Sutherland is a team preparing for the Championship next year. I just don't think, for me, if you're going up, you take a gamble. If you fully believe we're going to be playing in the Premier League next year, I don't think you sign a striker from League 2 no matter the form they're in. I think Shane's a great player, and I just think lower half of the Championship, mid-table Championship is absolutely a good level for him, but to go straight from League 2 part-time straight to full-time to playing in the Premier League, he might find himself out his depth unless the plans to bring him off the bench.
Potentially.
Do you think that, I think that's a really good point actually, but do you think that Inverness are kind of preparing for, another season in Championship, but where they are going to be title contenders? I mean, yes. I know they've had a great season so far, sitting second and stuff like that, but without a Dundee United in the league next season, obviously, I don't think the teams coming down from the Premiership are going to be strong as the previous years. I think this is a brilliant chance if Inverness can recruit well. I think
it's a double-edged sword, because if they bring Sutherland in, they're in the Championship, it's a decent signing, and if he comes in and they're in the Premiership, it's an option off the bench. I really like Shane a lot as a player. I think he's really just a goal scorer, and if this makes sense, like, I feel like him going straight to the Premier League from League 2 this season, I think he'd find himself out his depth a wee bit. But if he has a season in the Championship where he's playing and then he moves on to the Premier League, I think he would do a lot better, because he could find his feet back in the full-time game up against a good level for him, and then he can kind of push on. For Elgin City, I like Elgin City. They always seem to be one of those teams that's in either finishing 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Always kind of recruited well. We Sutherland, and they had Gunn. Rubin Omar's a player there I've spoke about before.
I told you not to bring Craig Gunn up again.
Like, Gunny was a boy, and
he was.
I think that I've always liked the drive up to Elgin as well. I think a lovely drive.
It's a great.
It's because you don't do it.
I know.
It's a great.
Just sit in the passenger seat.
It's a great. To be fair, at least you do the drive. I just stay overnight and get pished. So it's still fair play to use. To be fair,
that's it. But I think Elgin will be safe this year. Maybe finishing the playoffs.
What a kind of fairy tale ending to that chapter for Shane Sutherland's career as well, if he can get Elgin into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I think they seemed to stick on earlier in the season, and obviously dropped a wee bit. So hopefully Shane Sutherland's got that kind of fire in his belly to go, look, you know, this club's given a lot to me and vice versa, so I want to really try and fire them into the playoffs and not just, you know, actually give them a realistic chance. And up, Elgin have been in this position a good few times before, and it's never really felt like this is going to be the time.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. Who knows what could happen there as well? But it'll certainly be a good game. Another League Two question to throw out at you from the boys' view. That's BHOYS. That's usually to do with the Glasgow Celtic guys. Really sorry about the stuff earlier. Where will Edinburgh City finish this season? Obviously, we briefly spoke about the 2-horse race at the top. First or second?
As I said last week, they will go up in second place through the playoffs with Cove Rangers.
They will finish second, and whether or not they go up, I am not sure. See if it came at the end of the transfer window and Cove had an ascend Rory McAllister, I might have tipped them. To win the whole thing, but I think they're going to go up second. Yeah,
especially obviously after, you know, McAllister scoring in his debut, granted from the penalty spot, scoring from his, scoring in his debut. The perfect start you want.
Great news coming out for fans of Edinburgh City as well. Conrad Baltoni signed a new deal.
Great, yeah.
Well, a centre half, a solid ball winner, experienced, absolutely everything that you hope. If you're planning on going up, he's going to jump up. No bother. He's going to be a big player for you next season, regardless if you're League 1 or you're League 2. A great piece of business.
Really important. I don't think I know Adam spoke about it last week. I don't think the result at the weekend against Hamilton, you know, on paper it doesn't look good. To be fair, obviously that defeat, but I think, you know what, these things happen, and it really shouldn't. I don't think it will derail their promotion hopes this season.
I think a couple of those results are just kind of indicative of, you know, the full-time stamina against a part-time team. It's just one of those things.
And the pressure the full-time teams are under to get results now as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that run in the cup.
Can you imagine how damaging that would have been for Hamilton had that been the other way around? Or even if Edinburgh had just taken a win, regardless of the scoreline.
Yeah, exactly. Or similarly, I guess, with like Kilmarnock and Queen's
Park,
something similar.
Absolutely.
But no, I agree with Alistair. I think that Edinburgh City will finish second, but I'm unsure whether
if they go up. I don't know.
I'm of the opinion they will.
They had a great season last season and completely bottled it in the playoffs. I don't know what happened there.
I think that heartbreak will do them in good stead.
I think it will as well.
It's
experience, and they've managed to keep a lot of the boys together.
Yeah, and the last thing they want to do as a group or as individuals is go through what they went through in that semi-final defeat as well.
Because it just seemed the heads just seemed to completely go at Edinburgh last year. They were top of the league for so long, and you've got a player like Blair Henderson who was absolutely killing it last year. And you think, this guy's going to fire us all the way, and then all of a sudden, I think Henderson maybe get injured, and then it's just kind of like...
Yeah, there was... The
heads just seem to go completely in the playoffs, and I don't understand why.
No, exactly.
And so I think second.
Yeah. Right, guys, so we're close to finishing up.
Dylan, you've got a game from League 2 to do?
This week? No, I've not.
Oh, you do? All we done was talk about...
Cowdenbeath versus Brecon.
Oh, we already done it. Sorry, I forgot.
Sorry, I know you and Ross are the same person, but...
I'm honest, I've went full Charlie Nicholas this week, I apologise. I'm absolutely at it.
That's what happens when you do dry January.
No.
Maybe craving a pint of Tennent's lagging.
And obviously... Please start responding to my tweets.
Yeah, just, I don't know if... Well, we might end up having other questions, I don't know, but just this is obviously a really key... Actually, we'll do yours first then before I do this one then.
Just some of the ones you've covered, most of them, Dylan, anyway. Got one from Falkirk _news. You know, we've seen a wee bit of Falkirk this year, and he's asked, what position do Falkirk really need to improve on?
Creative midfielder.
I agree.
As we spoke about last week or the week before, Charlie Telfer should be doing that job from, but he's not
doing it.
Losing Longridge was big. The defence is absolutely fine. I think they've conceded the least goals in League 1.
Yeah.
Up front, McManus, Salmon, Miller, they're fine. Just need someone to put those boys on a plate.
Yeah, they've got their midfield's really, you know, with the likes of Gomez and stuff like that. Like, it's really good. Like, they're really disciplined. They can hold.
Yeah.
But like they need that wee spark. I do think they need that wee spark. I don't think they need a lot.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I think they need maybe 1 or 2 more players in.
Yeah.
I
in
think with the
those kinda
formation they
creative
play,
positions.
they need a kind of bridge between their central midfield and their strikers.
Yeah.
Like we say, that player we imagine Charlie Taylor was going to be for them. I think they need a player like that.
Yeah.
They could start turning, and maybe with some additions, they could start turning kind of more draws into wins.
Yeah, well, I was looking just quickly. I was looking into this when David Goodwillie was rumoured to be going to Falkirk before he signed his new deal at Clyde. Which, by the way, 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of nowhere, but a lot of their fans seem to think that we need goals, so it could be a good signing. Other fans were saying goals isn't the issue, and I think they do need more goals. But I'm on the side where another striker's not the option. It's got to be someone setting up the boys they've already got.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's why I'm going creative midfielder rather than striker.
No,
Absolutely.
agree.
Absolutely. I've only got 1 or 2 more. I've got one from Archie. Is it Gilly X? Sorry, either way.
They know how they are. Cheers, guys.
One that I thought would be quite interesting for us to discuss is who's going to come down from each of the leagues. So I thought very quickly, just a quick fire name for each. You know, 1 automatic relegation and 1 if they come down in the playoffs. Start with the championship, make it easy.
Alloa coming down automatically.
Yes.
I think that Morton will finish in the relegation playoffs. However, I think they will stay up.
Agreed.
I think that Stranraer will go down automatically in League One. I think that Forfar will finish in the relegation playoffs.
Disagree.
And in League Two, I think that Stenhousemuir will finish bottom. I can't go against Brecon. And I think Brecon will finish in the relegation playoffs. And I do think they will go down.
There is no relegation playoff. It's only one team.
Then Ross, I'm doing a you. What's going on here?
What's
I'm
a me?
in a roll. I'm on a roll. I actually, do you know what? Yeah, I think Stenhousemuir will go down then.
Yeah. Championship, yeah. I'll come down. Morton will finish in the playoff place but stay up. Stranraer will come down, as will Peterhead.
Agreed.
And pains me to say it, Brecon are going.
I don't think maybe they won't go down. They'll finish bottom for sure.
I think I was desperate. I didn't want them to go down. I created a new way for
an
the
alternate universe.
I clearly just had. I'm just sitting with the tables in my head, and I'm going, do you know what? Can I create a way to save them?
Yeah. Nah, Brora Rangers are coming up.
Brecon, I think, will play in the playoffs. I don't know if they'll go down, and they will be playing in the playoffs.
Brora Rangers are coming up.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. Archie's asked another question about a non-Premiership Scotland 11. What I thought we could maybe do is leave that one to the end of the season and kind of pick out a player of the season for each position. Yeah,
we could do. I mean, I'm sure we'll discuss in an episode or two of kind of a review at the end of the season. We're kind of talking about the teams. Obviously the outcomes of the playoffs and the leagues and the imaginary League 2 relegation automatic spot that's been created.
Yeah, maybe come up with some rules for it, because it would be easy to just fill it with championship players. Yeah. But we want to shine a light in all the divisions.
We could make this slightly more difficult for us and let the boys in the main podcast pick the rules for us.
Yes.
That way we can. There's no debate about it.
We've got a thumbs up. That's what we're doing.
We've got a very slightly controversial question.
Great.
It's from Dean_Cornelius_fan page. Talking Boz or open goal?
I think at this moment in time, from Talking Boz, we can't comment on any
I'm really scared of Johnny, so I'm going to say Talking Boz.
On any speculation
regarding
Boz,
easy.
It has to be Talking Boz. A huge respect for the guys at Open Goal. Look forward to. I mean, who knows? We could do a kind of like Mortal Kombat v X-Men style, like kind of like podcast one day, and I'd love to do it. You know, we're talking about Cy Ferry, potential new Peterhead captain.
I could see you as Scorpion, Ali.
But that's another conversation.
Let's not talk about it now.
But yeah, no, love the guys, love what they do. I'm sure we'll be very closely following the Hydro shows. We're yet to announce our Hydro shows, so keep on our social channels for that. But do you know what? We love them. But of course,
what's that? Creef Hydro?
Of course, it's tough. Not even that.
The Hydro shows me getting pissed at the next gig and forcing my way onto stage to talk about football. Those pints are thrown at me.
And let me tell you about fucking Brecon.
He's waiting in Shania Twain. I'm going to tell you about Dick Campbell. All right.
And that's why we'll never get asked. So, guys, thanks for your question, mate. But yeah, do you know what? Obviously, it's Talking Boz for us. And just to finish off, very quick question from Jack Milne, 100. Simply just asking, all right, lads? He's
I'm
all
alright.
right, aye?
I'm alright.
I'm doing alright.
Cool.
If
Fine,
that's
yeah.
not the
Johnny's
case, I'll reach
nodding.
out to you.
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah. Well, that's us on that. Very positive bombshell. Ross, Ali, thank you very much.
Yes,
as
thank
always.
What about our guest for next week?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, I thought
Give
you were
him
just.
a
I thought you
minute.
were wrapping up.
Jesus,
Sorry,
this is an
I've
ab-
went full Champers Nicholas.
This is an absolute. This is going to be.
It's like that fucking car crash, man.
So it's going to be a 2-man show next week.
This is going to be another Lost episode. So, as Ali rightly brought up, is, and
I thought you were wrapping everything up. Sorry.
And as we touched on earlier in the show, we're going to be talking about BSC Glasgow quite a bit next week, as we're thrilled to have at Mozart Plays on, also Derek, who is the ambassador for BSC Glasgow. He is Scotland's football manager guy. He is so many other things. Just a great presence.
Streamer, podcaster,
everything, and he's just a great guy. And so yeah, we've got Derek on next week. Sports scene featured him in the highlights in the BSC Glasgow game at the weekend. He seemed to love that. Just really looking forward to chatting to him about, his role at BSC, the story so far. Ali, I'm sure you'll quiz him on Football Manager.
I was just going to say.
Absolutely.
And also really, the Scottish Cup and what lies ahead and so many other things. So please tune into that, and hopefully we'll actually get a chance to maybe shine more of a light on the Lowland League as well next week. So we're looking forward to that.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yes.
Get a bit of pressure off us for playing Bovril.
For now. So yeah, can't wait for that next week. And as we said, we're also lining up, he's just the start of some brilliant guests that we're starting to line up, and some other things that we're doing. So keep an eye on at TBLowerLeague on Twitter, and of course at talkingboys.com for everything Talking Boys and everything Lower League. Gents, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is this us finishing for
That's
definite?
Right,
thank God.
you okay with that?
Thank God.
Right, brilliant. Right, everyone, you can switch off and go to your beds and stuff. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll speak to you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.